Hello my stars, these are the videos that I'm referring to in the upcoming message that I have for you so that I could just clarify some misunderstandings and give you guys more clarity. Please enjoy the upcoming video. Well, good afternoon to every single lovely star out there. I hope you guys all had a lovely weekend. If you are in the western side of our planet, you might still be in the last dead stretches of your weekend. For most of us here on the eastern side, we are already on Monday afternoon, 12 p.m. So I hope everybody is enjoying their first day of the week, or that they are enjoying the last little bit before they go back to work on Monday, or for those who don't go back to work on Monday to start a new week, or whatever the case might be. My dear friends, I seem to have created a little bit of confusion with some viewers and people, because I sometimes forget that I don't forget, but it slips my mind that we have new subscribers and stuff, and that some people might have missed a video somehow, somewhere along the line, because I try and release them sort of like a sequential, if there is something sequential in the works. But it seems that the one that I did about Queen Elizabeth II, and did she know, created a little bit of confusion. So I'm here to sort of like rectify this and help you guys understand that reading a little bit better. Okay, this whole thing started out by the very, very first video, and I'll pop it on screen here, where I basically asked, is there a threat on the royal family? Okay, that's basically what it came down to. I'm not going to give a spoiler, and Zorro is now getting in between us here, because I don't know what he wants. He's just had lunch, so let me just see what he's doing. But he's just saying hello as well. My sincerest apologies. He's going to drive me barking mad. I don't know what it is up with him, that he always decides that, you know, just as I start recording, that he wants to have his 10 cents worth. But in any case, I think he's becoming a staple to the diet of everybody here. But anywho, okay, so as I was saying, I think I confused everybody a little bit, because I didn't spell the question out 100% in that last one that I did about, did Queen Elizabeth know? Let me sort of just go back. The first one basically asked, you know, was there a threat? Is there a threat, basically, you know, family, blah, 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 and everything else. Then you'll see I'll pop it on screen, so you can go and re-watch it, or you can go and watch it if you've missed it. Then the second one was where I basically, no, let me actually go back a little bit further. This whole thing started with the Diana altar writing. This is actually where the whole sequence of those questions and stuff started, was with the Diana altar writing. And then subsequently, the cards, that the reading that I did directly after the altar writing. I'll pop them all in the description in the order that I originally loaded them in, so you guys can go and have a look. Then the question after I pulled the cards on the first lot, basically I wanted to know, because something pointed me to this, and the question in there was, and I'm going to write it down because I don't want this channel to be taken down, or the algorithm to spoof me or block me or anything. I wanted to know, if this family, not the person as such, but the family, his family, was involved with the Paris crash. And I've had a lot of comments and everything about it, and I thought it will be easier for me just to address it here in this video. And I'm also not going to give the plot away. So go and watch it if you've missed it. Then, the question was, basically, in the last video where I did with Queen Elizabeth, and what I asked the question was, did QE2 know or have any inclination if they were involved? And I think this will now make that question that I've made very cryptic a lot more clearer. So you guys will now actually be able to see where this all stemmed from and why this reading stemmed out of the way that it stemmed from. Then, also with regards to this, if you guys go and have a look, I will also find it and I will also link it in this description box. It must be about 9 months ago that I did, when Prince William went to the United Arab Emirates for a meeting and everything else, where he was supposed to be there on behalf of the government and stuff. There was something not sitting 100% right for me with that whole meeting. So I did some readings on that. And I'm also not going to give the plots away. If you haven't seen it, they will be linked underneath here as well, because there was sort of like a whole series. And the basic question was around the trade meeting and if it was really a trade meeting or if there was more behind it. And why that reading also stemmed from it was because there was something said somewhere along the line that I heard that once Queen Elizabeth passed over Rainbow's End, some agreement or the other that was in place had fallen away, and that is why there is so much upheaval at the moment. Because she ran it with a very, very tight fist. She had 70 years of controlling things and 70 years of having quiet diplomacies and arrangements and stuff. We've got to remember, people, we've got to remember, even though we are in a modern era, even though we are in the 21st century, there are still rivalries. If we go back 3 centuries, we will remember that there are, and there has always been, rivalries between royal families. Some of it has been ironed out, some of it has been married into, and that is why Queen Victoria was so prolific with making sure that her children basically got married off into a lot of royal families and subsequently grandchildren. So that is why it is married into. But there's a certain section of royal family that never really got married into. And I'm not going to say you all can surmise yourself. Okay? And I don't think it's been for a lack of trying, or whatever the case might be, or not wanting to. This is my personal opinion, okay? You might vary from my opinion, but I just think that there is too much of a difference between the two ways that those two, how can I put it? That Western and Eastern royal families operate. There's too much of a divide. Even though they will work together, there's never been a coming together of Middle Eastern and Western royal families as such. Okay. So that is where I think, and I'm not saying the UAE had anything to do with it. That reading was focused on this specific family, okay? But we know that family, that his family was not of the Western royals. They were sort of like royalty in their own regard, okay? So, And there has always been a very strong link between those countries, even though they don't all sit along the same fire. There is still a central link there, and we all know what that central link is. Okay, so that is where I think this whole thing stemmed from, and that is why I think the one reading turned out the way it did. Especially the last one, where I asked the question, was that family involved? Okay, and now this explanation will make that reading and then the subsequent reading, what I did on did Queen Elizabeth know, make a lot more sense. Okay, because I don't want you guys to sit and be confused by me, and I think it was just also, and I think it's also my fault that I didn't explain certain things, but I was trying to be cryptic. Let me put it that way. And I didn't want to blurt things out, because we all know how things work. Okay? And I've worked, and you guys have really worked very, very hard on getting the channel to where it is at the moment. And I do not, and I cannot afford losing this. Okay? Because this is about 9 months that it's taken me to get to this point, roughly. 9 months of hard slog. And it's only in the last, I think, 2 or 3 months that I've seen growth on the channel. Because I'm honest with you guys, I was at a point where I was actually wanting to give up. Around about 3 months ago, so I nearly gave up. I nearly stopped the channel. I nearly stopped not recording everything. Okay. But I was kept on pushed and pushed and pushed, and then there was a little bit of a breakthrough, and a little bit more of a breakthrough. Okay. Putting content together and number one on YouTube is hard work, no matter what you do, no matter what people say. It takes a lot, because you've got to, sometimes, I'm talking in general now, and then I'll get to the channel, because there's a lot of research, there's a lot of investigation, there is a lot of bits and pieces that you have to do beforehand, and then you've got to actually go and record. You got to make sure your equipment is right. You make sure that the lighting is right. You make sure that everything is set up correctly. And then once you've done that, then you've got to go back. I can literally just go and just push my videos out, okay, without doing anything. But that to me is sloppy. I just find it sloppy. So I go back. And please do understand what I'm saying when I'm talking about editing. I'm not talking about cutting things out and putting things in or whatever else. What I mean by editing is I go and sit and I make sure that, lighting is correct, that, that the sound is correct, that I add in, sometimes if I add the photos in, or if I add previous readings, captions in, if I do whatever. That all takes time. You've got to physically add in all your little like buttons, and you've got to add all those things. And it's time consuming. It can take me to edit a 15-minute video. It can sometimes take me 45 minutes to get it right. Because then I've still got to go and upload it to YouTube. I've got to make sure that I run all the necessary tests and stuff, that I hit all the right SEOs and the CTRs and all those things. And it all takes time, and you've got to all input it. It's not just a case of you go boom, bomb. The basics of the channel has been set up, but for every video, you need to have something unique in it. So when you look at the description box, for example, just do yourself a favor if you've never popped over to the description box. Have a look in the description box. Yes, there's a lot of things that are repeated, but every single part of my descriptions of every video is different. Then I've still got to do the timestamps. If I didn't care, I could just pop it out and I can just not put timestamps in. The timestamps alone will save me about 20 minutes. So you can understand where it's coming from. But now let's pull it back into tarot. it's a lot of energy that gets drained out of you when you do it, because you almost have to sort of like zone out of reality, if I can put it that way. Cut off all outside noise and everything. Yes, I hear Zorro bark and whatever else, but he's part of my internal noise. But you cut yourself off from everything and you focus and you get your downloads and you connect with your guides and everything else. Okay. So sometimes, and that is where I'm getting to the point is last week there was just so much intense energy coming through. And you guys can see in that one video that I did that I actually had, to burn the sage, and I had to relight the sage, and I had to spray my sprays and everything. That tells you how intense it was, and that energy continued. That energy literally just kept on coming and kept continuing. So that is why I also think that maybe because I was so laser focused when I was doing those readings, that I might have forgotten to express myself like I normally do, and take it slowly. But it was really, especially the one where I had to burn the sage and I had to relight it. That was a very, very intense reading, because if you go right back to the beginning of that video, I literally had to block. I couldn't remember a thing. I literally went blank. And now I've got my external noise sitting here making, yes, what do you want? You're very comfortable on the couch and everything there. You've had lunch. But you just want to say, peoples, I'm here too. And I'm getting this most gorgeous little face looking at me now. All snuggled up on top of the couch blanket and sitting there, and I don't know what he wants. He is just looking for attention. But in any case, so that is why I would like to say I'm sorry if I lost people along the line. I didn't mean to lose people along the line or get you confused. So hopefully this has clarified the whole lot for you, and I will go to the description. You'll see. Here goes my tongue tied. You will see. I will pop those videos on the screen as we go on, but I will also put them in the description box in the order that I release them, and then you can go and rewatch them if you like, so that you can actually see how it all fits in and how it all makes sense in the long run. Okay, so hopefully that all has made sense to you guys now. But I'm not going to let you guys off the hook that easily. I know I've spoken a long time, but I'm going to do a quick little reading. I'm going to give you your fix for the day. I am going to ask the cards. I heard some very, very, as Lady C said, bongo drums. I heard Zulu drums. I heard Zulu drums bongoing. And I want to know if there's any truth to it. But before I do that, I think I'm going to end this video. No. Shan't I? No, let me continue. I'm in two minds here about it. Zora, should I make a new video or should I pause this one? Bark if I must make a new one. He's not barking, so I must continue. I'm just going to pause for a second. I'll see what he's up to and I'll be back in a second. Okay, I am back and he's all sorted out. It so thus turned out that he wanted to climb off the couch to go and have a wee-wee. What a clever boy. What a clever boy. And as I said, clever boy, he's now run through to the bed and he's sitting on the bed. And as I said, clever boy, he looked up at me. Okay, as I said, I heard the Zulu drums beating. And my cards if you go back and you have a look at some of the videos in the Royal Gossip playlist, where my cards have said that we are going to hear something about... Let me go again. Oh my glory, hallelujah, please give me strength. Oh dear, Michael, Gabriel, Ariel, whatever, give me strength today with it. I think this is an indication that I need to do this as a separate video, my friends. But let me lead you into that video. We heard the drums beating. And my cards did say that we're going to hear something in month 7, roughly month 7, about the marriage of the Harkles. And something has come out over the weekend. Some information has come out over the weekend. So please, there's going to be a video directly after this one about if there's any truth in that rumor that's doing the round. And my cards did say, look out. And they kept pointing towards something, and we're sitting in month 7. So I'll be with you in the reading in a moment.